Hello everybody, welcome back. I hope you're doing really well. Today we're going to be doing a very highly requested bridal, bridesmaid, event, graduation makeup. My sister's wedding is in 3 weeks. I'm a bridesmaid and it's just suddenly dawned on me I should probably try some makeup looks. I know this time of year everybody has weddings, parties, events going on, so I think this is as good a time as any to try this. I am going to an event tonight, so I thought I would use this as like a trial. The makeup needs to last all night. It's going to be a late finish. I want to see how it looks in pictures. I want to see how it looks throughout the night. My sister's getting married in Vegas as well, so it's going to be super hot, so this is going to be full long lasting, so she needs to last, she needs to look good in flash pictures. Light work. All the bits that I've picked out, I looked through all my makeup collection and thought, what are things that I love, what are things that I think would be quite bridal. Obviously I'm maybe slightly anti-bride, but I did work in Bobbi Brown, so trust me, I've done many bridal makeup looks. So I think a big thing with bridal makeup is people feel like they have to do something so crazy and so different. I think that's honestly when you end up hating it. You're going to look back at your wedding picture and think, who is this girl? That is not me. My advice and what I would tell people is do what feels like you, but take it up a little bit. I'm going to start with a good primer. I feel like this is the most important thing. Skin prep, getting your skin super ready for makeup. I've used the Caroline Herron's eye cream and the matching moisturiser. I love that so much. If I was doing this for a day, I would then SPF. Then going straight with a primer. This is the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Primer Base. Creates a really beautiful flat base. It almost has that like silicone feeling without being a silicone primer. I'm not the biggest fan of those. I find they kind of just like peel a little bit and they can make your makeup go a bit weird, but this one is really beautiful. The other that I of course love is the Vive Skin Nova. This needs to last me. I'm going to be in the desert, so I'm hoping a more silicone-y kind of fill primer will lock everything in, but we'll see. This is why we're testing. Okay, I'm going to work that into the skin. But yeah, my main tip is do makeup that feels like you, that feels good for you, that you're not doing because you've seen a picture on Pinterest. It reminds me of my absolute horror story client when I worked at Bobbi Brown. Obviously it was a man. He had brought his wife, well, wife-to-be, for a makeup trial, and I would usually ask people a few questions beforehand, like what kind of makeup do you usually wear, like what sort of thing do you want, obviously do you have any pictures of what you like, and she was like, I don't really wear any makeup, like I don't really have any, not a problem at all. And all of a sudden I hear this little chip 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 chip, this man saying, yeah, kind of something like yours would be nice. This was during my like 19 years old, full grunge. I believe I had a black smoky eye, full cake on. And I just thought, remind me who you are. He would literally not stop making comments about like how he wanted her makeup to look, that he loved like really full glam. I was like, why did we say yes? Why did we say yes to this? And yeah, we actually ended up asking him to leave. And I actually had a really lovely consultation with his fiance. She was so lovely, kept it really natural. She felt really pretty at the end of it. I thought she looked beautiful, and I really hope that she called the wedding off, and I hope that she found somebody nice of her. So the moral of the story, do it for yourself. Don't do it for anybody else. Anyway, skin is primed. I love the way that this primer feels. It doesn't feel like sticky, it just feels nice. My skin feels ready for makeup. It feels like a flat, even base. Now I'm going to go in with the Kosas corrector. This is the Illusion shade. I'm not usually a corrector girl, but I'm going to try this and see if it makes any massive difference, if it feels like it takes my makeup up a level. Day to day, honestly, I don't wear that much makeup, so I want to feel a little bit more glam. I've also got a wedding on Friday, you know what I'm saying? It's all weddings now. So I might do this makeup again, or maybe a variation of, and just see what I prefer. I think there's anywhere that naturally feels a little bit darker. I'm gonna take a little Spectrum Katie Jane Hughes brush and buff that in. This is so nice, this corrector. Like, look at that. Crazy. It's a really weird thing here. It was a spot like ages and ages ago, and it's just never gone, but it feels like there's something in it. Like it feels kind of firm. So I'm hoping it goes away. It's like flat enough to cover, but it's really annoying. Now, going on to base, I kind of in my head am a little bit programmed to think we're going full coverage, we need an Estee Lauder double wear, Kylie long wear foundation. I prefer how I feel with like a lighter base on, so I'm going to do my sort of normal makeup and I'm just going to take it up a little level. I'm going to take the Vive Skin Nova. I actually just got a brand new one of this. This is back in stock. Run. Hopefully it's still in stock by the time this video comes out. This is back in stock. I just got a brand new one. This is the shade 220. I've been using 230 recently, but I think 220 might be better. This for a skin tint is just incredible. It's so long lasting. It is one of those products, as soon as I see it, I think that would be great if you were getting married. I've never had so many in real life comments on my skin as when I wear this. People have never complimented my skin so much, and I'm always like, it's just this. This Dolce & Gabbana foundation brush, which is a bit random, but it's very nice. That's a slightly better shade. I'll be back to 230 in no time once I've been in the desert. I'm just gonna buff that in. This is just the perfect base. It really is your skin, but better. I might go in with another layer just because I can, free will and whatnot. I just realised this camera's actually really far out. Let me zoom in a bit. Sorry about that. Bloody miles away. That is just, ooh, it's just perfect skin in a bottle. So not me whipping my pearls out for the bridal makeup. If there's a theme, I will commit to it. That's one thing about me. That is one really thin layer. Day to day, this is what I would normally do, but I'm gonna add a little extra because we can. I just think a product like this is so great because you can build it so easily. You can really take it from like a skin tint to a medium coverage foundation, because most people actually don't need full coverage all over their face unless you really want that, but I prefer to just build up the coverage wherever I need it. Usually on like my cheeks and on my chin I want a little bit more, but like my forehead doesn't really need too much coverage. Now I'm going to go in with the Makeup Forever HD concealer. This is the shade 2.5N, and I'm just going to like spot conceal with this. So this little, and anywhere that I want a little extra coverage but not necessarily brightness, I am going to go with a more brightening concealer in a minute. But to concealer job honestly makes the world of difference. Going in my NARS creamy concealer in the shade light 2.6. I really need to buy a new one of this. I think every time I use it I think really need to order one of those. Today is the day. Never do it. And I'm going to lighten up with this. So this is obviously a little bit lighter foundation shade and a little bit of that in the centre. What I've actually been loving recently, it's a little bit TikTok makeup, but I've been doing my concealer with my, what am I trying to say? My contour with my concealer and then blending it all together, and I actually feel like it does merge quite nicely. Rare Beauty liquid contour in the shade Mellow. I've been loving this, it's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm just going to do a few dots of that. So these are quite warm. There's been quite a lot of debate about these not being cool toned enough. Honestly, for me, I actually love that. I'm such a warm tone contour girl, as you know. If you are more into a shadowy contour, they might be slightly warm, but I prefer a more bronzy. I'm going to do quite a bronzy eye as well, so I think that will work really nicely. With the bronzer, because I want the concealer to sit for as long as possible. I want it to marinate. We'll also be setting this with a powder bronzer, so everything will be sort of layered up. I think that's the secret, is just layers of things. You see those things that are like your makeup doesn't look like this because you don't have enough on, and honestly I think that is the biggest difference. Like day to day I think I've got makeup on, why do I not look, why is it not makeuping? But then as soon as you start layering things and actually like concisely thinking about why you're doing things, you think, ah, there it is. Okay, and then taking a sponge, I'm going to pat those concealer bits in the under eye concealer. The key with this is do not overblend. Like when you feel like you need to pat it again, stop. I remember seeing Uche say that, and honestly anything Uche says is like gospel to me. So when you get to this point where you're like, oh, I'll keep patting it, don't, stop patting it. It's subconscious, you have to put the brush down. And then sometimes I'll take that bronzer brush again and just merge everything together, but I always feel like this base kind of comes together a little bit nicer when I do it that way around. So that is all of our liquid first bases on. It's looking pretty good. Setting powder, if I can recommend one setting powder to anybody, is the Laura Mercier ones, either the original one or this is the Ultra Blur. I wouldn't really say I've noticed a massive difference in the Ultra from the original, but this one's just massive and I've had it for so long that I just keep using it. Oh, you know the person that commented on my vlog saying I could not be trusted with a tracksuit that colour? I've got foundation on it. Okay, you win. I hope you're happy with yourself. You were right. Enjoy the money. Take my little Spectrum puff and just coat it, and then directly under the eye, just pat all the way underneath and down the side of my nose, kind of like baking, mini bake sort of thing. The main area really that you want to be set, and then whatever's left on here I'm just going to pat on my chin and just taking a little bit and patting it on my forehead. This is obviously where you get quite oily. I'm just going to run a little bit on a soft brush across the rest of my face, over my lids. I'm going to be adding a bronzer around the edge of my face, so this is mainly just for the centre. I find it's a little bit trust the process. You have to look a bit flat before it starts coming back in. Bronzer, a little bit extra warmth. I've got this brand new one from Christian Dior. Dior Forever Nude Bronzer in the shade 03 Soft. I've been loving this. It's like a really warm apricot-y, actually smells like apricot. And then I've also got this beautiful palette from NARS. This is the Pure Luxury Light Reflecting Cheek and Eye palette. As soon as I saw this, I thought that is so bridal. Even as like a bridal present, I feel like if you got somebody who was getting married this as a gift, I feel like that's just so nice. Do kind of like a mixture of these. I have got a gorgeous blush to use, so I want to keep the bronzer quite minimal. It's just to add warmth back, if anything. and bring it around the temples. This is such a subtle bronze that you almost don't notice that it's warming your skin up, but it just has this real nice kind of glowing from within look. Take a little bit of this NARS bronzer because I'm intrigued. Oh, that's really nice. It's just added a little extra dimension. It's got that really subtle like milled highlight through it. Really pretty. I think that will make a big difference in pictures. I think that will pick up really nicely. And then I'm going to take that same shade on a smaller brush and just lightly contour my nose. It's really nice. Again, it's like so subtle it almost looks like it's not doing anything, and then it is. Nice. Okay, skin is looking really nice. I'm actually really happy with it. Got a very exciting new product, brand new from Rare Beauty. I went to the launch party of these last week and I got to play with them, but yesterday I used them properly for the first time. These were gaslighting me. Like, I literally got gaslit by these. I did my makeup about 8 AM yesterday before work. Went to work, came home, went out for a walk, didn't even really look at my face, came home. This was probably about 6 PM by this point and they were still on. Like, my blush still looked perfect, and I thought, have I touched that up? I must have touched this up at work, but I was like, I literally didn't take it with me. It's playing mind games with me. I've never had a blush last as long as this in my life. It must be to do with like the formula. So these are the matte bouncy blush, and I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but they're like kind of like squishy, so you will leave like an indent if you go like that. Almost like a cream powder hybrid, which I think is probably why it's so long lasting. You've got like both layers in one. So I've got, these are my favourite shades. I've got Worth, Happy and Hope. I'm gonna do my eyes quite bronzy, so Hope might be quite nice. It's more of like a terracotta, and then maybe a little bit of Happy on top, this kind of pinky shade, but these are just incredible. I'm gonna use the brush that they came with. This is the, no name, just a brush. And what I like is they're quite soft and buildable. It's not like immediate pigment. And I'm just gonna start patting this. I mean, look at that. It's just so soft and beautiful. Like, I don't get it. I actually just think these might be perfect. Just building that shade up lightly. And I'm going to bring it kind of underneath my eyes. I do like that really. I obviously love a lot of blush, so I'm going to build it up a bit. But I think one sheer layer of these is just stunning. They're so soft and like diffused and just really beautiful. I love the idea of like a really blushy bridal makeup. I think if I was getting married, I would definitely go quite heavy on the blush. Something about it just feels really like youthful and fun, and you know, if you have like a spring wedding, I just think it's really pretty. This is why it's important to try on makeup as well, because depending on like the kind of pictures that you want, sometimes your makeup literally disappears. Like, I've been on shoots before where I have a violent amount of makeup on. Like, you look in the mirror and you think, what the hell do I look like? As soon as the camera, the flash is on you, it disappears. Especially blush, like this is one of those things that just vanishes. You have to have more on than you think, so I think it's a good idea to trial it, maybe take some flash pictures, get friends to like take pictures of you and kind of see how it looks on camera, because yeah, you'd be surprised how much makeup people actually have on in pictures where it looks like they don't have much on. Do a little bit of that Happy shade because I just think it's so beautiful. And I'm just going to focus that a bit more on the apples of my cheeks. I did also pull this one out of my collection because as soon as I was thinking about bridesmaidy makeup, this was in my mind straight away. This is also Rare Beauty. This is the powder blush in Cheer. I used these a lot last summer. There's something so gorgeous about them if you want that high shine in pictures. So I'm going to take a little bit of this. They're pretty pigmented, so you really don't need much, and just dust it on the highest bit of my cheeks. See, like already that's probably too much, but it's fine. Oh, just gorgeous. A little bit across the nose. They literally make you feel like a pixie. Around the temple as well. Finishing touch for skin, I'm going to add my freckles in. This is the U-Tan freckle pen. It's just one of those things, like, I've always done this, so it feels very me. Whenever I don't do this, I feel like something's just missing off my face. I almost feel like it's just like part of my makeup now. And I also think if you have any like little quirks that you always do in your makeup, 100% do them in your bridal makeup. You have to keep them when you do your makeup, otherwise you will feel weird. Like, sometimes if you have your makeup done by someone, you kind of hate it because it doesn't look like your face and it's not how you normally do things. I think the base is done for now. I usually like to get my eye and lip on and then re-look at everything and see if I want to add any more blush, reset any bits, you know. So for now, we're done. I'm gonna brush through my brows. I actually dyed them a few days ago, so they probably don't need anything doing to them. Onto eyes. I have again got another beautiful, beautiful new launch. I've used almost every single colour of these now over the last week. These are brand new from Half Magic Beauty, the Sparkle Stick. I think these are existing to Half Magic, but they've launched 4 new shades. I think maybe one of these is the new shades, but I've also used the black glitter, which is, and the blue. You know how I feel about like a periwinkle sort of blue. I hate that word, it feels really British saying like periwinkle. I think that's what it's called. These are super sparkly eyeshadow sticks. An eyeshadow stick is your best friend, especially if you're a little bit less confident with eyeshadow. Whack one of these on. Bob's your uncle. So I haven't used either of these shades yet. We've got Princess Teddy and Beige Mystique. Interesting. I think I said in my bronzy glam video, if I was getting married, I would do quite a bronzy eye. Feels very me. I feel like you can really glam it up, especially with the skin. And also I feel like if you're getting married and you're wearing like white, something about like white with the bronze gold jewelry. I'm quite like a warm tones person, so for me that feels really right. Like a combo of these. I'm going to start with the Princess Teddy Sparkle. Like my nails kind of match. These are literally the easiest thing to use. I'm just going to pat out any creasing on my lids, but you don't need to like use a primer or anything. These literally just whack on. So I'm gonna go all over the lid. I mean the sparkle, and I'm gonna keep it just under the crease as I'm like looking forward. Obviously as you lower your head they kind of disappear, so I want to keep it just in that. This brand is Donny Davies, who's the Euphoria makeup artist, so I feel like once you know that, everything just makes sense. And I'm going to use a little soft brush and just really lightly buff the edge. They're so easy to use. They literally just blend, but you don't lose the glitter once you start blending. Some products with glitter, as soon as you touch them with a brush, it just disappears. Crazy. I actually wore the black glitter to the Rare Beauty event and I had so many compliments because it was like kind of like flood lighting in there. It's quite strange lighting to be fair, but it worked very well for a sparkly eye. I'm going to buff it up slightly just so you get a little bit of glitter coming up, but nothing too crazy. There's one woman that we trust with sparkle. It is Donny. Actually the easiest eye ever. I feel like that took me like 5 minutes. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the lighter shade and do like a highlight in the middle. Like really subtle, but I always feel like it just adds a little something. And I'm going to do a little bit in the inner corner. These are crazy. I don't understand texturally how these work because they literally don't move. They feel like they look wet, but they're not wet. I'm going to take a little bit of the first one and just bring it underneath. Again, I'm quite a smoky girl. I usually have liner in my waterline like day to day, so for me to not do that for like a wedding or an event would feel weird. Now I'm going to add a little extra definition. As I was saying, I pretty much always have like a waterline, some sort of liner smokiness on. The Lisa Eldridge Seamless Eye Pencil in Burnt Umber. It's really deep brown. I think brown over black is quite flattering. I do love a black smoky tight line, but I think with the bronze brown it's just going to be really nice and soft. And then I just sort of lightly pull that wing out. Honestly, the nail eyeliner trick is like my everything. It's all I've got. Yeah, I love that. As soon as I do that, that's an eye. If you feel like you're going to cry loads, maybe a waterline would not be the best idea. I wouldn't mind because I feel like it kind of grunges it up. I kind of like when it's a bit rugged, you know, you've been crying a little bit, but you can always do the good old beauty blender hack that I did at a funeral where you just hold a mini beauty blender under your eyes and it just soaks up the tears. Very smart. I feel like Beauty Blender are missing a trick, not selling them for that purpose. And then just going to take a little brush and blend that slightly. All quite smoky. I'm going to curl the lashes. I need some new lash curlers. These are a bit on their last legs. Mascara, we're going to do the Vive Modern Mascara, my favourite ever. It was never going to be anything else. I think a lot of people want to go waterproof for their wedding. I'm not really a big waterproof mascara girl. The one that I really like is the YSL Lash Clash Waterproof. That shit does not move. If I did bottom lashes, I would 100% use that on them. I just never feel like this mascara comes off, even if I've had it on for hours and hours. We're in hay fever season as well, don't forget, so my eyes are quite watery and this just doesn't bother me. It doesn't smudge, doesn't flake, it doesn't get dry throughout the day. It's just my perfect mascara. So it's up for the job, I know it. I'm going to keep the lashes a bit fuller towards the outer corner. See, now as soon as I've done my eyes, I feel like my brows look lighter than they did at the beginning. So I'm just going to fill them in really quick with the Makeup by Mario palette. I always use this shade on my brows. And just anywhere that's a bit gappy. Only really fill in towards like the end. So with my lips, I've got a few products here that immediately came to mind. Obviously, it's going to be a nude. No questions asked. Staying power lip liner wise, I just don't think anything has ever topped the Hourglass ones for me. So I've got that in the shade Candid Fast. This is probably a little bit deeper than I'd want to go. I'd probably want like a shade down from this. Can't seem to find any of the others. They're probably just like scattered across bags. But in terms of colours, the Vive liners are just my favourite. This is the shade Brat. So I'm thinking a combo of these two. This definitely to top up throughout the day. Like a kind of nudie lipstick and a gloss option. So first thing I'll do is take my powder puff and just pat over my lips. I think you kind of want a lip combo that feels easy throughout the day to top up as well. I always feel like when I have like a dramatic lip on or something, once I eat it just drives me mad because I think I've got to do that all again. So I want something that can kind of wear throughout the day. That's why I think a gloss is quite nice because it kind of moves with you and looks quite nice. So we're going to start with the Hourglass liner and just line our lips Oh, it's not actually as dark as I remember. Okay, no it is, I was right. These just don't move. I wore this to a hygienist appointment. They basically waterboard you at that. I was pretty much underwater and it was still on. So that's how brands should be testing their products, hairdressers or hygienists. And I'm going to shade in the edges with this. Just create some shape. These are a slightly drier liner, obviously, because they last so long. So you want to work fairly quickly. Lightly buff the edges in. This would survive one of those like aggressive first snogs they do on Married at First Sight. You know, they just absolutely go for it. I think, wow. I'm going to take a bit of the Brat liner from Vive and just fill in with that. Kind of soften everything up and create a lip colour all over. Obviously lip liners are a lot longer wearing than a lipstick throughout the day, so if you cover your lips in a liner, it really won't go anywhere, even if you are aggressively snogging. If you want to, more power to you, you know? Create a bit of light in the centre. I'm going to take MAC Cream Cut. This is a classic. This is a real classic. Just a little bit of that in the centre. I love a light lip. I love like a verging on foundation lip. Maybe don't listen to me really on this part. I feel like as soon as I do that, it brightens my whole face up. I even sometimes, it's going to make you throw up. I'm going to take a bit of that Kosas corrector. Pat that right in the middle. I just feel like as soon as I do that, that's just softened everything. Like it's kind of brought everything back together. And then last step, I'm going to take the Vive Lip Dew in Rosa. This is a classic, beautiful, beautiful shade. Again, one of those things that just immediately screams wedding makeup. It's a really lightweight, comfortable sort of lip oil and gloss hybrid. So it feels really comfortable to wear. It doesn't feel like you've got really sticky lips or anything. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, makeup's all on, so last step, most important step for wedding makeup, setting spray. If you are a setting spray non-believer, as I was, these will change your mind. I've got two setting sprays here that are my favourites. First up, we've got the Fenty Beauty You Mist and the Vive Invisiveil. This for me is more of like a refreshing touch-up. Love how it makes my skin look, kind of merges everything together. This is serious. This is very serious. I saw a girl's video about this the other day, which was perfect. She was like filming the street and she was like, the sun is coming up. Why do I still look like this? And honestly, her makeup looked perfect, and she was saying it was this. This makes me not care about never getting a Rihanna album again. Like, I'm so happy with this. We don't need anything else from you. Thank you, Rihanna. This is a must. This will 100% be coming to Vegas with me. It is more of like a hairspray setting. I'm sure it's got quite a bit of alcohol in it probably. Probably wouldn't use it every single day, but for special occasions where you need your makeup to sit. I'm going to set my face with this. And it's not very wet. It doesn't add like a wetness to your skin, which is nice. Obviously it's looking a little juicy where I sprayed it, but it dries down like immediately. This is your face forever. Congratulations, your makeup's never coming off. Then this one I think I would want in my bag throughout the day. I am desperate for a mini one of these, Jamie, please, because it's just the best thing throughout the day to just refresh your makeup. So I beg, I actually beg. Okay, now sometimes I like to look at my makeup at the end of it and just see if anything needs tweaking. Honestly, I think it's kind of perfect. I have got an eye bogey though. I will always have an eye bogey, that's one thing can be sure of. The final step is clean the nose ring. And there we go, that's the finished look. Take these out. That is the finished makeup. I actually love how this turned out. I feel like it's kind of on the nose what I wanted. Bronzy, blushy, glowy. Still feels like me and still feels like the makeup that I do a lot, but it's just a little notch up. I'm gonna grab my camera. We're gonna do a flash camera test to see what it's looking like. This is the moment of truth. I love when it like hits like here and here. Camera test complete. Always all the products that I've mentioned will be linked in the description box down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching this and thank you for being here as always. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day wherever you are and I will see you very soon. Love you.